share your thoughts on if playing college football in empty stadiums is something that you see as part of the equation in the fall?
Yeah, it is not for me. I don't know how we reopen our campuses, put students back in dorms and in dining halls, and then say we can't be in a football stadium together. That doesn't feel compatible to me. I'm not sure how you say we're okay with the students engaging on the field but not fans in the stands. Now, might there be approaches to fans in the stands that are a little different, that help ensure safety? Absolutely, but I can't see playing in empty stadiums.
Notre Dame Athletic Director Jack Swarbrick yesterday, Lunch Talk Live with Mike Tirico. And Chris, that has been the overriding point that I've tried to make as it relates to college football. You can't have the football without the college. You can't justify the disconnect between the campuses remain closed to any classes or other in-person events, but we're going to go ahead and play football in empty stadiums because we want to make the money that comes from the football. They understand they cannot do that. You can't have the football without the college, so no games until you can open the campuses and have some collection of individuals in the stadium. You may have people spread out. It may look very strange on TV, a checkerboard pattern. We've talked about that possibility in the past. That may be what it takes, but the idea of college football in empty stadiums, that's not happening. NFL, if they have to, they will. College, they're not going to do it without fans.
No, I mean, to what you're saying, Mike, how can they? I mean, it's first off, it's scholastics first, right? I mean, they're coming dangerously close to exposing themselves here, with some of this conversation I've heard over the last week about, what do you want to say? What?
No, I'm just, you said they're coming dangerously close to exposing themselves, and I'm just thinking that could be taken a lot of different ways.
It could be. You're right. I mean, get your mind out of the gutter, okay? Let's just get back on football here, okay? But either way, they are coming dangerously close to exposing themselves, to showing that it's all about the money and the dollars, to what you're saying, okay? All right, Mr. Nudie guy over there, all right? And then, and then hello, I have hello, London, we're back, baby. But then you get into, my man Jack Swarbrick over there at Notre Dame. He understands that. Notre Dame is one of the finest institutions in our country. They're not going to play sports if the kids aren't in school. They are a school, and scholastics, they're education first there. And also, the college football, part of it is the pageantry of the band and all the fans and, the school pride and everything about that. It's different than the NFL that way, to where, yes, I don't think it would be as a fun a game to watch without fans. So, yeah, if school's not back in session, I mean, I'm with Jack. There's no way you could play college football, and a lot more moving parts in college football to make it happen than there is in the NFL.
And the other side of the coin is this. Everybody knows at this point that the student athletes are more athlete than student. And I understand at some institutions that's not quite the same, and Notre Dame is one that still maintains very high athletic standards for anyone who gets in. So and they've maybe suffered for it on the field over the years.
Definitely.
But most of us get it, that college football is a gigantic moneymaker for these colleges. And if you take the cash out of the equation that comes from the TV deals, you're going to wreak havoc on a college's budget. I get that. I understand that. And we all know that. And it's almost like when wrestling finally acknowledged to the world that it's fake, nothing really changed. Like, I don't know how big of a deal it would be for college football to finally admit to us what we already know and do whatever they have to do to play those games, even if the campuses aren't open again. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, Chris. I'm saying that,
I got you.
That if it entails, if the only barrier is letting us all know what we already know, who cares? Go ahead and do it. I guess that's kind of how I'm looking at it, because there is a financial benefit to playing the games, getting the money on the books, and helping the budgets from imploding at colleges throughout the country.
Well, then they're opening that box with my friend Pandora in there, okay, for everybody to use the argument once again, okay, of like, these are not just, these are professionals. They need to be paid money. I'm losing my track of thought or my words there.
No, but you're
to
right.
be compensated would bolster the argument for the scholar athlete to say, see, here you go. We should be being paid some more money to account for what we're doing for this school financially.
I think you're right. It's so tenuous right now, and we see the fire flare up from time to time, whether it's a union drive at Northwestern or just public pressure that periodically is placed on the schools, the push for the name, image, and likeness laws in various states. I feel like at this point, college football is just trying to hold off the reckoning as long as possible. And playing these games with no campuses open, with no fans in the stand, could be the tipping point where once the dust finally settles, you've got everything you need to make the argument that these kids need to be paid. And I personally believe they need to be paid. Everybody else connected to the sport is getting paid, from the president of the university down to the guy or the gal selling popcorn in the stadium. Everybody is getting paid except the people on the field. And you're right. That's why they're clinging to this, even though we all know. It just shows you how tenuous it is. We all know the disconnect, and we're fine with it for the most part. But the moment you admit it is the moment you end up putting yourself in a position where you got to start cutting checks to these players.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.